Okay, so hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Fun with Flame. I'm your host Danieltheflame, and I am going to give my review towards the first episode of the live action One Piece. Now, this is going to be a first of 8, as I plan on doing a individual review of each episode and then do an amalgam video that's essentially my overall review of the series. Full disclosure, I happen to be a One Piece fan. I'm a huge One Piece fan. I love the series. I love it to death. And I feel that it's only fair that I give an impartial review in the beginning for my take of the episode. Then I go into my, goo goo gaga fandom review of the series. Now, first things first, this show doesn't make any sense. I say that in terms of actually bringing up the fact that multiple moments within this show, they don't really connect or give a logical reason as to why characters do certain actions that they take within the series. There is no explanation as to why a bunch of them actually kind of join up or go along with different ideas or different stuff that's happening. They just kind of have them do things. It seems as though the story has to progress and they just kind of force them in the scenario without giving any type of logical reason why. I feel as though this probably would have been fixed with like throwaway lines or probably some type of significant idea, or maybe the hint of like some type of double cross later on or anything like that, which would probably justify a lot of these actions. But it felt as if the story knew this is what's supposed to take place and this is how these characters are supposed to go, but the plot couldn't keep up with actually making that be concise. So it just kind of randomized everything that it could and then just forced these characters together. But there's just no logical reason behind it as to why. I actually enjoy the actor that plays Monkey D. Luffy. I really enjoyed him. He was very, very much the highlight of the show, which was great for me as going into my little bit into a fandom. Monkey D. Luffy is my favorite character in One Piece. So to me, him portraying that character well was actually something that I really enjoyed. He wasn't like the best personification of the character, but what he was a very charismatic, charming, and interesting character. He was dumb in his own right, yet he was someone that essentially was very likable, which I believe is like a cornerstone element towards someone who claims to be the king of the pirates, as well as someone who wants to have a crew to get people to join it and then follow his orders and whatnot. So that element was actually done very well. But a problem, going into another problem with this show, just seems as though there were too many incidents and moments that were supposed to be significant, yet it gave no logical reason as to why it was significant. The story didn't really tell you anything about what it was that was going on. You feel almost as if you're missing out on a joke, like an inside joke or something like that, where you have like Raiders of the Lost Ark's moments where, like the part where the light is shining on the map that tells them exactly what an arc is, and it's such this overdrawn sequence and like builds up hype and key music and whatnot, because of the fact that it's like, oh, we're finally getting to the nitty gritty of what's going on. And this happens a bunch in this episode, but again, you kind of wonder, why is it happening? You don't know what's the significance behind anything, and so essentially you feel left out upon looking at it. And honestly, that was incredibly jarring and very, very, very bad, as it just kind of wasted away a lot of runtime and stuff that was going on, because it just felt like, yeah, this is overblown and whatnot, but I don't get why. That also kind of goes into the fight scenes within the episode. Those were really bad. There's only one fight scene in this entire episode that actually was very well choreographed and honestly had a good pace behind it, and that was when Zoro was fighting the Marines inside of the bar. But other than that, every other fight scene just seemed as if like these people were scared to hit each other. It was kind of a telltale thing that you see when it's like, despite the training and choreography, these people are still moving very slow. And I don't understand why Hollywood doesn't kind of speed up those fight scenes, because yeah, they're working out their movements, but you can clearly tell how slow they're going. But it's like, if you sped it up, it would make the scene far more impactful, as it is supposed to be a kind of a fast-paced little action scene going on. So I don't understand why they would keep it with the slow pacing, yet again, the bar fight was the only one that was actually done very well. So that was very confusing and jarring. So seeing the other fight scenes just kind of like threw you off. when it came to what was going on, especially the ones with Luffy fighting and then having the special effects of him stretching. It was almost as if everyone was waiting for the special effects to kick in, for his arm to stretch back and come forward and things like that. And it just kind of threw you away with what was going on, as if this should probably be a far more fluid and quicker motion going into what it is that he's capable of doing if it is going to be used in such length, considering that that's what the character is. He's someone made out of rubber. Yet they just did everything they could to kind of slow it down, as if the special effects just couldn't keep up with the action that's going on. And so that also killed the momentum of a lot of the fights. And you just had the moments where, hey, he's stretching his arm back and everyone's just kind of standing there waiting for a thing to happen. And it's like, if you just would have sped it up, you probably would have been better off, but you didn't. And so we got what we got, and it just was not good. Now, a lot of the characters in this series are just, well, in this episode, are just uninteresting. None of them are really likable or entertaining at that. You kind of have Zoro saying one-liners like straight out of a Sylvester Stallone 80s movie, and it just portraying him as like this too cool for school character, and it just did not feel right. And the notion or idea that he would do half of the actions that he did within the episode just came out of nowhere. He just did things, but there was no justification behind it. He just did them. And it didn't seem like this was like he was the type of character to do these actions, yet that's what they had him do in order to push along the story. So again, it was just, hey, the plot calls for him to eat off the floor. And it was like, yeah, but why would he do that? He just came in and ordered a drink. So what is he eating off the floor for? I don't know. So stuff like that was just incredibly weird and odd. And it was like, it's not like as if him eating off the floor was a good thing because the little girl did what he did, did what she did, look at the episode and whatnot. But it's like, I feel as if this is, again, another thing that's supposed to be a significant aspect of his character, much like Wiley, which cut to the main character looking at him and like nodding in approval towards his actions. But again, there was no justification behind this character doing that, considering that there's nothing going on. So it's like, yeah, you get off the floor. You could just pick it up and wait for her to make you something else. It's like, there's nothing to force you to basically get into a big old bar brawl with Marines. There's no reason behind it. So stuff like that was just very, very odd, very odd. But some of the interactions, again, most of the time being with the character of Monkey D. Luffy, were actually enjoyable. They were pretty decent and interesting. And again, the only character within this series that I could see that was actually had some effort put into him to actually make him a very likable and interesting character. Thank God that he's the main character, but other than that, there was just nothing really else going on within this episode that's kind of a note that matters. A lot of stuff is said, but you don't really hold any significance towards it because you don't really know what's going on. But I get that, you just got to watch the rest of the series for that to be apparent, but for the most part, it's not. It doesn't seem as if this is something for normies. It seems as if this is something only for big time fans. And because of that, it would kind of scare away or throw off normies from looking at it, as it just doesn't really connect together with any type of good continuity. So that's that. Now for me as a fan. Fuck this show, man. Fuck it. Fuck this episode so goddamn bad. Jesus Christ, this was terrible. This was so utterly terrible. You opened up your show showing Gold Roger's execution, and when he gave his speech that is what's supposed to inspire a new era of pirates, you didn't have him mention One Piece. He didn't say the word One Piece. The title opened up with One Piece, but he did not say that, thus nullifying the whole concept of the fucking show in the first place. How do you fuck up writing that bad? You gotta be a fucking moron to write something that terrible. Damn it. Everything is laid out in front of you of how the story is supposed to be. And like I said, they were going to fuck it up because they thought they knew better and they were going to make their own dumbass fan fiction. So you introduced Nami in a position where you didn't need to introduce Nami. You had Zoro essentially be uncharacteristic towards Zoro. And then the only person you did well was Luffy. And I can't wrap my mind around that as to why you would get him right and everyone else wrong. But then your story is still fucked up. So even though Luffy is kind of portrayed in an okay manner, there's nothing you can do with that because everything else around him is fucking terrible. So essentially by coexisting in this piece of shit, he too will have to be terrible because there's nothing you can do about that. And you showcase that by having him and Zoro double team Captain Morgan and they start losing. You bitch. The series begins with Luffy having an understanding of exactly the fact that he needed to train before he started off becoming a pirate. And then the series even hyper emphasizes the fact that he put a lot of effort into training, and then upon him reaching certain levels in certain instances within the series before he even gets to the Grand Line, Luffy is a force to be reckoned with as he takes down big time well-known pirates who essentially see this rookie as a problem amongst himself. His ability is a thing, but even upon fighting Kuro, it is stated that Kuro was like, I see you trained your body, not just reliant, you trained your body as well, rather than just be reliant on your devil fruit ability. These are things that are stated within the series that you are adapting. How the fuck do you miss that? To the point where you have a no-name, pathetic person in the very beginning be a force to be reckoned with, when one of the aspects about him is that he wasn't a force to be reckoned with, thus highlighting the power that these characters have because of the fact that they were unknown nobodies. Jesus Christ. You have Nami looking for a map. Nami, whose dream is to map the entire world. You have her looking for a map into the Grand Line, a fact that is actually known to multiple people. You even have a superstition about the Grand Line brought up, where it's like, if you go there, you don't come back, even though Navy officers go in and out of the Grand Line all the time, and multiple pirates that are showcased in early One Piece have been to the Grand Line and have came back to the East Blue. That's where the fuck Arlong is. So why would Nami need a map toward the Grand Line if Arlong is from the Grand Line? Does she need to go there to steal something? That doesn't make any sense, because Nami's whole point of being is to get money to pay for her village. So, if that is the case, why would she need to leave the East Blue? To get more treasure? That doesn't make any goddamn sense, especially if the Grand Line is such a dangerous place that she might not be able to make it back from. She's doing just fine robbing pirates the way that she's been doing. So why would you deviate from that plan, you fucking idiot? This is so stupid. It was so stupid, to the point that Captain Morgan had a map to the Grand Line. Why would he have that? What would you need that for? That makes no sense. We know Navy officers are able to go back and forth from the Grand Line at any point in time. Their ships are specially designed that way. That's something that's said as a throwaway line within the regular series. Why would you not be... Fuck! This was not made by a fan. This was made by someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. So you have moments of levity within One Piece that essentially kind of breaks the tension, as well as make it so enjoyable of a series, because it does stuff that other shonen don't do, which is basically poke fun at the seriousness of a situation. So regardless of how serious certain situations are, or how significant they are later down the line, they poke fun at those moments in those situations in order to facilitate that air of funny comedy that goes on within One Piece. It's something that is very apparent within the story itself, and it's very much one of the well-versed aspects of it. So because of that, when you take away those moments of levity, you're literally taking away a huge chunk of the soul of One Piece, which makes it so fucking enjoyable. Case in point would be when Luffy first ate the goddamn gum gum fruit. When Luffy first ate that, it was in the midst of being made fun of by Shanks and his crew, and he saw the fruit and he just wanted to eat it because he was just hungry. Saw it, he ate it, didn't think nothing of it. It's not held as a moment of like, oh, that's a big deal, but you know that that's something that Shanks and his crew held in high significance. They thought it was important, and to Luffy, a little kid who don't know any better, just ate it and was like, whatever. And it's like, whatever. And then Shanks reprimands him because of that. And then you find out that he turns into a rubber boy, and it changes the course of his life forever. Forever. But instead, you literally give it like this huge pause, all type of moment of him looking around, seeing that he knows that he's doing something bad, eating the fruit, and then continuously eating it, looking around as if, oh, I'm in the wrong. But it feels so right just to highlight the moment of this is how he became the Rubber Man. And it ruins everything about that scene, which gives it that levity towards it, because again, this is something that changes Luffy's life forever. Yet it is just completely whisked away because you wanted to show, here's the moment, here's the scene, here you go. I'm highlighting something that we all know was a part of the scene. And it just clearly screams out, this is for the fans. This is for people who understand what this is. I'm making a moment of a moment that we all know about. It's not a highlighted moment, but it is a moment. So let's blow it up, shall we? You fucking idiot. This is exactly what was wrong with the Cowboy Bebop live action. You are taking liberties with so many concepts done within One Piece for absolutely no reason, to the point where it makes the story incomprehensible because it does not follow correctly. There is no reason for Zoro and Nami to be with Luffy within this first episode, yet it ends with them being together. They give no logical reason. There's no reason for Zoro to stop and want to go help Luffy. They did not have the interaction that they have within the original series, which justifies Zoro actually wanting to help Luffy because he felt that he owed him one. None of that happens. And since none of that happens, then there's no reason behind him doing what it is that he does. How do you fuck up this badly? The story is just this one story, and it already gives you everything that you need in order to make these characters connect and fit well together. And you, for some reason, looked at it and went, fuck it. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to. This is so stupid. This is so unbelievably fucking stupid. It's stupid. I can't tell you how dumb it was to look at this and just know that every single scene that they're doing or every single thing that they're trying to focus and highlight on is literally meant for people who understand what it is that they're looking at. But to someone who has no idea what the fuck is going on, it will go right over their heads, making this a really bad show. So this episode is just so unbelievably fucking stupid. So goddamn stupid. Nami's looking for a map. Nami's whole dream is to draw a map of the world. Why the fuck would she look for a map? Mapping out shit is what she does. We already know how they're supposed to get into the Grand Line. You go to Logtown. That's common knowledge within their world. That's what people know. There's multiple ways to get into the Grand Line, but they're all very dangerous. So this is so stupid. It is so unbelievably stupid. And then you end the series, my bad, but you end the episode by showcasing Buggy wanting to get the map of the Grand Line. And again, kind of highlight back to Nami. Nami's doing shit for Arlong. Arlong is from the Grand Line. Why the fuck would he need a map of the Grand Line? Why would Nami need a map of the Grand Line? Nami's whole shtick is that he's trying to pay for a village. I think I already said that part. I'm so heated right now. But Arlong's been to the Grand Line. So why the fuck would he need a map to show him how to get into the Grand Line? He came from the Grand Line. That's fucking stupid. And then again, Nami wouldn't leave her village unattended or be on a long journey, whereas there's a possibility that she might not make it back. The fuck? So again, that wouldn't happen. But then you also have Buggy, someone who was on Gold Roger's crew. He has been to the Grand Line. He literally has traversed all the way up until Laugh Tale. So why would he want a map of the Grand Line when realistically Buggy not only doesn't want to stand out that much as a pirate, but has made painstakingly obvious that he wants to keep a low profile? This series was written well after the Marineford War, which is when this shit is very much apparent to all of people who look at One Piece. So why the fuck are you not following this shit? Why is Garp and Gold Roger's relationship seems to be so ridiculous? Why is Garp such an unlikable character? This nigga who you got to play Garp is not someone who plays roles where he's a fun-loving, goofy type of character. Garp gives off the same energy as Luffy. He just happens to be a Navy officer. That's one of the charming aspects of him because he is Luffy's grandfather. But you completely miss the fucking point, you dumb bastard. How do you mess up this badly? I'll tell you how. Because people got a bright idea to adapt something when they don't understand the fucking significance behind everything else that goes on. It's a linear story. It does not have pieces and parts that you want to highlight and whatnot. Hell, Zoro doing the thing with the little girl makes absolutely no sense because Zoro was supposed to save the little girl, and then upon him suffering the punishment for attacking Navy officers, he sits there and then is starving. And then when the little girl goes to feed him, Zoro eats the food even though that it was stomped on the ground by Hamepo. And even though that happens, Luffy then sees him and he approaches him and he hears the story about what he is, and then he wanted to see the pirate hunter up close. And then upon him giving the food after Zoro asks for it, he eats it, and Luffy then is impressed with his character, and then he asks him to join his crew. And then Zoro denies it. He doesn't want to do that and all that stuff. But then upon them making a deal, when Zoro finds out that essentially he's never going to be let go, he's more so just going to sit out there and die, he makes a deal with Luffy. Luffy and keeps up the end of his bargain. Then he joins his crew. to one of the funny levity moments in One Piece is that upon Zoro finally deciding to join Luffy's crew, when they do get to a boat, he goes, okay, so where's your main boat? Or where's the rest of the crew? And it's like, oh, it's just me and you right now. And Zoro busts out laughing. He doesn't sit there and call Luffy a name. He doesn't make fun of his dream, or he says that he's stupid or dumb or anything like that. He jokes, he laughs at the fact that I joined up with someone who only has me as a crewmate right now. And then the story goes on from there. How fucking difficult would it have been to write that? You don't need Nami. It's not important to have her at this point in time. It's not a significant thing to showcase her at this point in time. And all you had to do was just initially showcase her in the beginning with Alvida, and then the fact that she's basically moved on and is messing with Buggy. That's it. That's all you had to do. But you wanted to force feed this character into the series, and you had to show her early on in the first episode, and it didn't make any goddamn sense, and it's not going to make any sense with what her character is supposed to be. So again, if you're doing all this shit in order to highlight or showcase things for the fans, immediately the fans should be able to point out and identify that you're doing things badly when it comes to these characters. Hell, you have people talking about Baroque Works. Baroque Works is a secret organization. Why the fuck would it be a known thing that they would be talking about? Why would Zoro think that there's a bounty on Mr. Seven when Baroque Works isn't known by people? So most of the people that are there aren't even that high-ranking pirates or anything like that. It's a secret organization. Dude, fuck! So stupid. But you even have Garp looking into Baroque Works. Do you have any idea how dumb that is? That is so unbelievably dumb. Oh my goodness. I'm just so heated. And there's 7 more episodes to go. This is stupid. $18 million wasted. Fucking wasted. I told you it was going to be trash. I told you it was going to fuck it up. And I was right. So I'm going to end it there. And I'm about to keep watching the show. Yeah.